After months of messy back-and-forth arguments, heartbreak, and accusations of cheating, Blueface finally broke his silence and said something about Christian Rock's baby that sent the internet into a complete meltdown. In a shocking move, Blueface is now coming for the truth. The fans are at a loss for what to believe after Blueface went live and called out Christian by name for allegedly lying about the paternity of their child, saying, "That kid ain't mine." Did Christian really fabricate the entire thing? Blueface is hiding the truth. So when you think you've seen it all, wait until you hear what Christian responded. This is no ordinary breakup. This is war. Stay tuned because this baby daddy drama has reached a whole new level, and we have all the receipts right here.
The alleged father is not excluded as the biological father of the fetus.
That mean you're the father. Babe, that's mean you're the father.
It's not.
You're the father.
That makes me feel like I wasted my whole. Every time I'm going into bullshit like reality TV, thinking, it's for Rock. It's for Rock. Rock gonna go crazy. You think everybody.
Their love seems to be at an all-time high, but it looks like Chan has been completely exposed, and new evidence suggests that she may have fabricated her child's DNA test to confirm Blueface's paternity. Since Blueface is exposing her for attempting to baby trap him and dragging her for dirt, the internet is going crazy over this drama. We already thought their position was unusual, but it became much stranger.
Saying the baby ain't Blueface, and Chrisean liked it.
Given how awful their story has been, it seems like Christian and Blueface's conflict has reached a peak. I doubt anyone could have predicted these odd outcomes because these two have a history of causing problems on social media, making fun of each other, and even throwing their hands in public. Our expectations were already very low, and they consistently outperformed themselves, despite the fact that Blueface has been yelling from the rooftops that he is not the father since day one, and we all kind of ignored it, believing he was just being his messy self in search of drama. What makes this situation particularly tragic is that Blueface is now reaffirming his claim that he is not the father, and Kristen was recently exposed for allegedly falsifying her baby's DNA. Crane promptly refuted any paternity claims after revealing her pregnancy, stating, "To answer your questions, yes, I and Rock are officially done. Everything is business. I injected it, but it was obviously not given before she declared she was expecting someone else's child, not mine." Despite the fact that Rock had dated 10 other men in the past year, I was able to determine from a DNA test that he wasn't the father of the child because he refused to acknowledge the child as his own and vehemently denied being the father. This was demonstrated on the reality TV show when Chan eventually agreed to a DNA test that proved Blueface was the child's biological father.
The alleged father is not excluded as the biological father of the fetus.
That mean you're the father. Babe, that's mean you're the father.
It's not.
You're the father.
Blueface is Chan's father. We thought he would eventually grow up and demonstrate greater distinction to Crane. This isn't surprising because everyone is aware of how awful Blueface is. He didn't even show regret for reprimanding Chan, and his actions only got worse before sending Chan a nasty text message that read, "I will always cheat. I won't even bother." He also attempted to get her to terminate the pregnancy, but when she refused, he lost it and started a bizarre drama on Twitter, saying he didn't want the child and would never pay child support. For months after I told this girl that I didn't want a child with Crane, he continued to say that he didn't want one during their pregnancy. His words, "Hide it for real. You don't want to be caged up at home with a baby while I'm with the next. Big thing, we will get into problems if we have a baby." He gave her a great deal of stress and made her think about everything she insisted that I get rid of it. Therefore, you had better set the price she was trying to trick me choices to not have the child. And he made no effort to conceal his disinterest. In doing so, things become extremely juicy at this point. When his other baby mom, Jaden Alexis, also known as Stewie, went into delivery, Chan was in Miami having a great time with her. He abruptly changed his mind and started acting extremely nervous, even threatening to take action as soon as her little bundle of joy made his dramatic entrance into the world. The most peculiar aspect of the whole situation is that Chan gave the kid her first and last name on the birth certificate rather than Blueface's. As a result, his full name is Chan Malone. JR, if Crane had not done what he said, he would have taken the B away from her. This attracted attention from a number of individuals because Blueface's name is certificate. After all, Chan dedicated 9 months of her life to persuade Blueface, and The world that, despite the fact that he was the baby daddy, she did everything in her power to get him to agree to the idea of having a child with her. She returns and removes his name from the birth certificate, which may help to explain it, but chaos breaks out at this point. Their relationship appeared to be going well, and they reunited a week after the baby was born, even showing up in Chrisean's most recent song video to show off their relationship. After he met the baby, they spent some time together as father and son, and Gran posted a picture of them on social media with the caption, "Daddy and I." After a heated argument on Twitter a few days earlier over his effort to accuse her of being an unfit mother, she ultimately chose to include him on the birth certificate, despite the fact that it didn't make much sense at the time. Blueface posted an image of the infants showing that he has a hernia in his genitalia. He tweeted criticizing Chan's inaction, saying, "I tried to do the right thing to keep things private, but this chick never stops talking. Leave me alone, you crack." The baby still hasn't had surgery for his hernia, and she is lying about him being healthy and not urinating due to the hernia in his uterus. When our Sunday is set, go get another writer. Tag her on her page in all of her posts and do anything else you can to prevent her from focusing on me so that she can fulfill her desires. Baby has been delaying the procedure and skipping appointments. Her genitalia are enormous, and she talks about me and my opinion on this site all the time. When I went to Baltimore, I assumed there would be surgery, but instead they were discussing how she had skipped the appointment and how infuriated this hacker was that she had threatened to arrest and imprison her. Interview.
Yeah, bro. Being a free man right now, appreciate the time you got right now, because nigga, you're not finna be roaming the world like you thought.
She also claimed that the child's lack of a name was the reason behind Blueface's insane behavior. She wrote on Twitter, "Tell them how you would like to take your child as I named him after myself. I'm stuck with a manipulator like him. Don't use my child as leverage, Blue. Show more concern for your probation. I don't think I'm slow or stupid. I have papers." The reason behind her reluctance to officially identify Blueface as Jonathan Porter. When Chan's ex-boyfriend came forward and said that Chan had been lying to us the entire time the situation escalated, he posted side-by-side photos and claimed that the child wasn't Blueface's, but rather his own. This somewhat raised the child's father, and she was finally ready to acquire him. However, it turns out that Shep perhaps falsified the DNA test during her pregnancy. He said, "Thank God in advance because this stuff is getting crazy," and provided pictures of the child and himself to show how similar they were. "You are not the father of Blueface," he stated. And Chan seemed to be endorsing the claims when she discussed on social media how her ex was Blueface's baby daddy. Given that you and the child's purported father reside in Los Angeles and the man claiming, "The child resides in Bore share similar looks, why would you have a child in Bore?" When I read about the DNA test, I thought it was a little odd. It felt phony, and the test was unmanageable. Twitter stated that I undid something off, but I don't think that's my baby. He continued saying, "I have a baby mama and 2 kids until further notice. The best news I got all year is that I'm free. You're better than I am." He additionally stated, "I didn't even think about the paper being folded up. If I were a Christian at the time, I would have also pretended that it wasn't his child because it would be best to keep Blueface out of her life until he got another paternity test and put his name on the birth certificate." He also remarked on how odd it was that when Chan gave him the DNA results, they were already public and assaulted. In this situation, people are terrified in the streets and saying various things on paper, but the memory test never looks like that. He will only drag that girl. Since you're doing the most and you don't deserve it, I would also play the game, "You're not the father" through the courts to protect this child. He will have gray hair before he is old, and I think that's due to Crane Blueface and Crane X. What do you think about Crane? Did she really lie about being a father? Or do you think she's just trying to protect herself and her child from Blueface, exposing your identity? You should watch this drama. Ronnie needs to have a DNA test to get evidence to identify the baby's father and let everyone know that the joke about Crane and Blueface is getting old. If you think that Crane is lying, please share your thoughts in the comments section below.